At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, welcome everybody. Let's do this. Happy Friday. First off, you guys ready? I am. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo! What's on my microphone? What are you? What is that? Oh, it's a dog hair. Oh my goodness. Yo, welcome everybody to Tuss Talk with Ty. It is Friday. So wonderful and magnificent. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you had a fantastic week. I certainly had an eventful week. Again, keeping up with everybody. Yeah, welcome. If you're in chat, feel free to say hello. If you got any questions or comments, hey, super chat is also, as you can see, it's right there, right there. Super chat right there. God, that's hard to do. Super chat. Just saying. And of course, if you want to sign up for Patreon, shout out to Patreon. You guys check out the new screen. Look at that. Oh yeah, a little Christmassy. In honor of Patreon, the $8 plus club. You got the highlighted names for everyone else who was kind enough to be Patreon supporters. Look at you guys. All of you are rock stars, and you all know that. Shout out to sponsors. Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. They offer same-day services, competitive pricing. Trying to scroll up here. There we go. Competitive pricing. I threw that in there because they do. Better than best results. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. Give them a call today. 501-244-3667. How about Apex Tattoo Studio? We've got some ink up in our Discord. Go check that out. 615 West Oak Street in Rogers. That's where they're located for now. They are moving, I don't even think it's really down the road. I think they're moving a few spots over from where they're at over in Rogers. But you can call them. The number should be the same. 479-278-2694. They are offering $1,000 up to $1,000 tap-out sessions. Those appointments are available. Call and book today. Mention Tuss Talk with Ty, get 10% off. The same goes for direct Service Overhead. And then a special shout-out to Odd Soul because, yeah, they're sponsors. They're the newest addition to the sponsorship. I'm going to be live there tomorrow. I'm going to be on location live for the second time, but this time it's going to be a post-game show. I'm going to show up at about somewhere between 7 and 7:30, watch the game there, eat some delicious pie, drink whatever the hell they got on tap. I can't wait. Hopefully some more Black Apple, some local stuff, and hope maybe one or two of you will come out. Come join us tomorrow. Odd Soul. They're on Emma Street. You cannot miss them. They're right next to the Apollo Theater, right there in that same little that same strip there. Also, right next to where I used to get my hair cut. Emma Street's ballin', y'all. They're not Dixon Street, okay? But they're ballin'. Emma Street and Springdale's doing its thing. All right. Discord is the place to be, folks. Yeah, Mike and them is our newest moderator. We won't get into what's happened in Discord the last 24 hours because a lot of you are not in our Discord, so I'm going to leave that to Discord. We'll leave all that to Discord, but Mike and them is our newest moderator, and I really do appreciate him. He's a moderator on Discord, not in YouTube. We might change that soon, though. I don't know. We're going to have some moderators. Let's get into all this stuff. Oh, my goodness. Oh, we got a super chat. Hogs going to beat Auburn by 10+. Says Aaron Harbison. Yeah, we need to discuss that game a little bit, don't we? Arkansas on the road, coming off a huge comeback win against a very good offensive Mizzou team. That was at home. It'd be a lot harder on the road to make that comeback, but it happened. They did it. It wasn't always pretty, but my God, I don't care. Home court, neutral court, away court. Climbing back from down 17 to then, I mean, they could have had a double-digit lead in the second half, had just a couple things gone their way, had Devo not gotten a little sloppy with the ball. Some things certainly, had they gone their way, we'll get into the officiating. We'll save that for the post-game discussion. But by the way, if you haven't watched that post-game, go watch it, the live chat. Of course, I don't know, some of you may not realize, you can watch live chat even after the live is done with. You can go back and watch it. That should be available. If you're always curious who I'm responding to and who I'm talking to, you can go back and watch that live chat. Auburn, number 22 in the country right now. They're 11-3, 1-1 in conference play. Yeah, this is going to be a ball game. I think this will be tough. Neville Arena again. Tip off 7:30, January 7th. Wait, 7:30. Whoa! Hold up. Did I mess that time up? I thought it was 8 p.m. tip off. Y'all, do I have the time wrong? I swear I just looked at that and it was 8 p.m. tip off. Why are they saying 7:30 on ESPN? It is 7:30. Son of a. All right, change of plans. Your boy's going to be at Odsole a little earlier than 7:30. He'll be there probably about 6:30. 6:30, in between 6:30 and 7. We're going to get set up. I'm going to go over there tomorrow. I'm going to meet up with Nick over at the Odsole, and we're going to get that straightened out. I swear to God, I thought that was an 8 p.m. tip-off. Did they change the time? I mean, really, was that not 8 p.m. at one point in time? I know LSU was. I know UNC Asheville was an 8 p.m., and I know, too, Mizzou, when they go on the road, somewhere here. I think it's an 8 p.m. Yeah, January 18th, it's 8 p.m. All right, well, your boy messed up. I'm going to be there a little earlier at the Odsole on Emma Street. But, anyways, I think it's going to be a tougher game than people think. I think a lot of people believe that because Auburn, a little sloppy, 11-3, they have their own set of issues. They're not a horrible team. I mean, look, they're ranked. I don't put a lot of credit into rankings in January. I'm sorry. Not in early January. Maybe late January, but not early January. Auburn right now, according to ESPN, they're 188th in the country in points per game at 72.1. Rebounds per game, they're tied for top 50. So when you're in that top 50, still too early to really compare. But when you're in that top 50, that means you're probably pretty salty. You're not great at whatever that statistic is this early in the year in basketball, but you're pretty good at it. You're pretty good. They're a pretty good rebounding team. Again, they're tied for top 45 in the country at 39 rebounds. They're 149th in assists per game, and they're allowing right now 62.8 points per game. Flip that over to Arkansas here really quick if ESPN will allow. It's moving really slow today. Arkansas, on the flip side of this, of course, Ricky Council leading score at 18.5, right at about 8. Oh, he's 18-4. Anthony Black's averaging close to 4 assists a game. I think you're, with a true freshman, no matter how highly touted, averaging about 4 assists pretty good. That's not bad. I'm sure Musselman wants that number to just skyrocket, wants it to be in the 5+ category, but it's not always easy. Ricky Council leads you in field goal percentage at 48. So Arkansas, when you talk about points per game, 77.4 points per game, so they're tied for top 80. I think we can argue that this team is having to Musselman even said this before tip-off against Mizzou. They're having to figure out what they're doing on the offensive end of the floor. They're having to kind of reset what they want to do. Clearly that meant Pinion. I think he knew, because here's why I think he knew. He didn't put Pinion out there and then just pulled him out of the game. He kept Pinion out there. Pinion played. What did he end up with? Like 20-something minutes. It's kind of that's the most minutes, most points in his college career and his freshman career so far. Pinion changed the he had an impact. I think you can honestly say between he and Ricky Council, they had a huge impact on that game, and him coming in, you can even wipe one of his threes off the board. The fact that he came in and was able to splash a couple of threes fairly quickly in between the two, it had an impact. It forced Mizzou to kind of rethink, and if I remember right, almost all of his shots, I think all but 2, I don't know if you want to say they were contested necessarily, but they found a way to get him open in that corner pocket. And that is, listen, when you can knock down those corner pocket threes, you should be capable from some guys it's just the sweet spot. Like Devo Davis, the sweet spot is that little pull-up jumper that he's got, right? That's Devo's strength. That's what he can do. He's not a three-point guy, and sometimes he makes me nervous just bringing the ball over half court. He makes me nervous when he brings the ball out. Not going to lie. I always think you're holding your breath. But his shot is that pull-up jumper, and that's really about it. But he can kind of do that anywhere within that range. We've seen him knock down some pretty cool, again, mid-range shots. Pull-up jumpers or not. We've seen him. That's his sweet spot, but especially right there around the free throw line. That's kind of what he can do, or a little bit behind it. He's not a three-point guy, but I think based on what little we have seen of Pinion, I feel like he's the kind of guy that could probably knock them down from anywhere outside in the perimeter. I haven't made up my mind about his defensive play yet. I want to see more. We haven't seen a ton of him against quality opponents yet. We saw him a little bit. I'm curious to see how that what that looks like. And again, you're gonna go into a pretty hostile environment. Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. I mean, it's gonna be hostile. We'll see how all these youngsters. They're already 0-1 on the road in conference play, in a hostile environment. They're already 0-1, right? LSU, they lost. It was a close game. Again, you could chalk that up to them still trying to figure out what they're going to do without Brazil, and obviously Nick Smith's kind of been out of it anyways, but they're still trying to reconfigure who they are. I kind of look for someone like Walsh to maybe be that next guy between Council. Maybe it's Pinion. Maybe it's Walsh. Devo has it in him to be like an 8 to 10 point a game kind of guy. The problem is he's going to make a lot. His shot selection sometimes is a little sus. And he's going to take a lot of shots to get there, and that's not the role I don't think Muss wants him in. So they're going to have to figure it out. It can't just be Council. I mean, it probably could be. If Council's going to score 20, 22, 24 a night, you could probably live that with, maybe finding a way to get to the free throw line, getting their guys into a little bit of foul trouble. We know Arkansas was so damn good at that last year. Do they have that in them to find a way to have a leading scorer, maybe a second guy kind of take on that role as the number 2 scorer? Maybe it's Anthony Black, although Black has kind of disappeared, right? Who is that next guy to help them out? Is it one of these underneath guys? They're going to have to figure that out really quickly because Council cannot be your only guy amongst all these youngsters. You're going to need someone to step up and maybe even a third, and they've got the talent. Walsh has it in him if he could just play a little bit smarter on the ball defense. Walsh, I think, has it in him to be a great scorer. I kind of feel like among all these players that are playing, Ricky Council's your guy, but Anthony Black to me feels like that X factor. He could be the distributor. I don't know where he's at as far as a three-point shooter. I don't know that I trust him taking 5 threes a game. Maybe he could find that role and he can knock down 2 or 3 easy threes. I don't know. Maybe he could be that guy, but I love his role as a distributor. He's the point guard. He's the one. Fine. But wouldn't mind seeing him expand that role. And we've seen him sneak up and grab some rebounds. We've seen him sneak up and get a steal or 2. We've seen him kind of be that do-it-all player, and it's because of his length and his size and his ability to get up and down the floor. Arkansas's got talent out the ears. It's just about finding the right roles for these guys on the floor and figuring out the right chemistry. And now with this situation with Nick Smith, so let's just segue into that really quick. We know that Musselman said that he is out indefinitely for the rest of the month of January. Fans took to Twitter. Wasn't always great. Some really bad takes on Twitter. I'm going to say it right now. Take it from me, it's never a good idea to go tagging players. I've done it once 10 years ago, and I wish I'd never done it. I mean, it was stupid. It was mostly harmless, but I shouldn't have done it. I still look back and I'm, man, even though that was 10 years ago, it's still stupid. Shouldn't have done it. Well, I think now it's been 11 years. It's 11 years ago. It was before either of my kids were born. Don't do it. Don't tag players. Just don't do it. It's not cool. And but all you can do, whatever Nick Smith decides to do, just wish him the best. Maybe he comes back in February. We know I think he's out in California. Is that what they said? He's going through. I don't really know what he's doing. I guess he's seeing another specialist. Just wish him the best, man. I really cannot believe we're having to have that conversation with people on Twitter, but we're finding out the difference between fans and fanatics. And unfortunately, there are a lot of fanatics. I think there are even more just fans that wish him the best. They wish the players, hey, man, good luck to you. Whatever you choose to do, you got money on the line. Go get your paper. That's always going to be that's my take for these players. Go get your paper. Go get paid. But then you have the fanatics. I think there's more fans, far more fans, but there's always those few fanatics that are just they're the loudest people in the room because they choose to be and because I guess they feel like they can be. And I'm not one. I mean, anyone who follows me on Twitter, I'm not in it for the chaos. I'm not in it to drag people. But someone did tag Nick Smith, and that individual got absolutely dragged on Twitter. He's starting to change his tune. You can see it now. He sees he's getting dragged, so he's starting to change his tune a little bit. But don't be an asshole. Why you're tagging these 18-year-old kids, I don't know. Again, we've all made mistakes and done stupid things on Twitter, and I'm not trying to judge people, but just be smarter than that. Think about it. Think about if that were your 17, 18-year-old kid. He's got to make a decision what's best for him. Holland's mom recent beard comments are eye-opening. She also, their family took to social media and said, leave us alone. I don't know. I mean, that's everybody. Someone told me, well, she's clearly talking to Hog fans. I think it was her or maybe I don't know, someone in the family took to Twitter or Facebook, one of the two platforms, and asked for fans to just chill. And I'm sure Hog fans are definitely involved in that. And I wish they get it. They get it. Hog fans want Holland here. But yeah. Let's see here. Did we miss no, we didn't. We got the super chat. Appreciate that again, Aaron. Thank you for your comment, man, and your super chat. Yo, Ty, what's up, Scotsman? How you doing? If you let children playing sports ruin your life, you need therapy. Yeah, no, and that's also it. I agree, 110%. Even if Nick Smith Jr. doesn't play again for Arkansas, I think we should be supporting him. Yes. How often do we see players coming out of the state with that much upside? Yeah, and it also goes to show you now. Nick Smith played a pretty big role in bringing in some other highly talented players. He played a huge role, and that's another thing. I think fans don't realize how much of an impact he had on recruiting. But I'm appreciative that he chose to stick around and be a Razorback, and I believe he's doing the best he can to try and make it back onto the floor this year. They're probably going to reevaluate once they're back and doing their thing, and we'll see where we're at. But it sounds like throughout the rest of January he won't be here, or he won't be able to play, I should say. I don't know if he'll be here or not, but we definitely don't have AB without Nick. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. People just flap their gums on Twitter, not realizing the situation. A lot of stuff happens behind the scenes, too, that people just don't get. Knee injuries suck. They do, Philip. You are absolutely correct. A Razorback loss can ruin my day or even my my week. Oh, man, but not my life. Yeah, and I get it. I mean, being a Ram fan right now is tough. Being a Ram fan is tough. We're back to we won the hardware, which is great. We won the ring, and then this year you lose, just the most ever post Super Bowl. Like that's the most ever for a Super Bowl team the following year. I think is what I read. That's pretty embarrassing. That sucks. It's not going to ruin my life, though. And the same goes for the Razorbacks. I don't hide my fandom. I mean, clearly I'm a fan. Yeah, it sucks, man, that day, and then you just kind of mull it over. You contemplate what's real, what's not. You maybe pour you a glass of scotch. Pour yourself a glass of scotch, light up a cigar, and contemplate life. And then you're back to normal the next morning, assuming you're not too hungover. We do have Peyton Hillis news. Someone in chat, I was literally about to I have that on my notes. That's the next thing I was going to talk about. Peyton Hillis, I don't have all the details to this. So, again, please, I apologize. We just found out about this last night. Peyton Hillis apparently tried to rescue one of his kids in the ocean. Is that right? Was he down in the Gulf? Or was he at a pool? I wouldn't imagine he's at a pool. Maybe he's down in the ocean where is it? I was a little surprised anybody was in water. They had to be down the Gulf. I don't know what happened. Yeah, thoughts and prayers are with him. He's apparently in ICU, former Razorback. If you don't know who Peyton Hillis is, well, first off, you need to go YouTube some Peyton Hillis, man. Go YouTube 2010 Peyton Hillis. Ooh. Homeboy was on the cover of Madden. Let's just put it that way. Famous Razorback. Used to pull trucks. I remember reading this stuff, God, so many years ago when Arkansas was recruiting him. I remember reading this stuff about him pulling trucks. It's kind of ridiculous. Is it Madden 12? I thought it was Madden 11. Was it 12? It's been a minute. I bought that. I hadn't. And Madden, that's back when Madden was pretty decent. That's back when Madden felt like the focus for EA was making a good football game, not trying to sell you some bullshit, whatever they're pushing, whatever they're peddling. It was 12? Okay. I swear I thought it was 2000. So what year was that at Cleveland? Wasn't it 2010 when he went off? Or 2011? But he is Peyton Hillis again. He's in the ICU. Hopefully he is okay. There we go. Stats. I could have sworn that was 2010. Bro, why is everything slow? Well, it won't pull up. I'm trying to look up his numbers and okay, but yeah, Lord. What year did he just completely go off? Yeah, it was 2010 when he ran for 1,177 yards, 11 touchdowns. He caught the ball a lot, too. We know that he did that here. He did have a lot of fumbles. He had 8 fumbles, and a lot of that's because the guy just couldn't go down. There'd be a low I remember watching this. There'd be a real late whistle to stop because, these players couldn't bring him down. He was a monster. He had 270 carries, 1,177 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, which is really good at that time in the NFL. 11 touchdowns. I think he had some receiving. I think he caught the ball really well in 2010 too. He had 61 catches for 477 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, just like that, in a single year, he's going to have to go down as like one of the greatest dual threat running backs. When you think of dual threat running backs, you think of like Marshall Faulk, and then here's Peyton Hillis, who in just how many years? Because he got drafted by Denver, he was there for 2 years, and they cut him loose, I think it was a trade, and then his first year in Cleveland, he just goes the hell off, almost 500 yards receiving. Like 1,700 total yards of offense. His in 2010, his first year with Cleveland. Then he got hurt. He got really banged up and never really recovered. Kind of a Barry Foster, almost a Barry Foster type career. Barry Foster, another former great Razorback, had a couple of really good years in Pittsburgh. But they love him up there. They absolutely love them some Peyton Hillis. I didn't look. I didn't go look to see what year he was on the cover. I'm just going to take y'all's word for it. Hey, remember to like the stream, share the content. If you got any questions or comments, fire away. Again, shout out to Patreon supporters. But make sure you I don't know, treat that like button like Peyton Hillis did defensive players trying to tackle him. Just run it over. Kiro Small. Yeah, Kiro Small used to break face masks. You remember that? They used to keep count of how many face masks Kiro broke. Now he's doing his thing in the weight room. I wish I was a little older when he was with the Hogs so I could actually remember him playing. God, he was unreal. To think you had him and Darren McFadden and Felix Jones in the same backfield, it was just unbelievable. 2010 would have been his great season because Madden. Yeah, they're always a year behind. So that's why I thought he would have been on 2011. Like they always follow, like when Madden comes out in August, so like Madden comes out in 2022, it'll be Madden 23. Yeah, that's the way it's always been. The same with NCAA. No, never wish you were older. Isn't that the truth, Scott? So, again, there's your update on Hillis. Unfortunate, hopefully, well, it's fortunate. It sounds like he saved his kid's life. That's awesome. The man's a hero. That's what dads do, baby. That's what dads do. All right? Men being men, taking action. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Man jumping into the water and saving his kid's life. Really quick, we got an update on Antonio Grier. This has been one of the most bizarre situations I think I've seen since not quite Alex Collins' level of, where the mom runs off with the paperwork. Not near that, but it's still bizarre. His process has been strange. Antonio Grier committed to the Razorbacks. He signed something. What the hell he signed exactly, we're not entirely clear on. And then he comes out with a tweet, several days later, where he's like, "No, I'm gonna stay put." But he doesn't mention Arkansas. I have his actual tweet here somewhere. With the coaching change at the University of Central Florida, what? It has changed my decision of committing to them. Recruitment 100% open. UCF is still in my vision, and my final decision will be made January 7th. But then he told Otis Kirk yesterday, I can't keep up. I don't know. Listen, man, the kid's he's living his best life. I say kid, he's like a fifth-year senior now, I think. Young man. But he tells Otis Kirk, Arkansas is even more than he thought when he committed before seeing it. After the basketball game last night and everything else, he is a solid commit to the Hogs. So maybe he didn't mean for Otis Kirk to I'm sure. Listen, Otis doesn't post anything without players' permission. So I'm not. No, Otis definitely would have gotten permission before posting that. Otis is a stand-up cat. There's a reason why these families, players' families, prospects or not, whether they come to Arkansas or not, there's a reason why their families absolutely love Otis Kirk. I mean, the guy goes by the book. He doesn't talk about anything publicly without permission from the family or from the player. So I don't understand what's going on with the Greer thing. So I guess he's committed. In the paperwork that I understand, and someone tried to explain this to me, it's some kind of I think it's like student aid paperwork. You can literally sign it and send it to every school in the country. It's not binding. It doesn't hold you to anything. And maybe he sent that out across all these schools, just, I don't know, letting them know that whatever. And the U of A, maybe this is me just trying to unpack this. Sorry, we're doing this live, and I've been trying to unpack this now for a few days. Maybe the U of A thought, oh, okay, well, he's committed to us and he's signed with us. That's him telling us he's – but you would think they've seen this kind of paperwork before, whatever it was that he sent in, and they wouldn't have published anything. But they did. They published on their website and I think on Twitter and their socials, he is signed with Arkansas. And Greer never corrected them. He never said, no, hold up, Instead, he puts out that tweet saying he's not committing to UCF. It's bizarre. But again, Otis Kirk, and this was on the Hogville message board. Say what you want about some of the posters on the message boards. You get quality stuff. Even though I don't work with those guys any longer right now, I'm going to have them on the show for sure. The writers are Otis Kirk and Dudley Dawson are it, man. I mean, those are two stand-up cats. Loved working side by side with them, and these guys know what they're doing. So I highly recommend you go keep up with that on their on Hogville on Kirk's Corner. That's where all the recruiting is. It's on Kirk's Corner. And then Dudley Dawson will have you covered with baseball. And, of course, the both of them combined will do football. So, yeah, Greer is a hog, I think. I don't know. I kind of feel like tomorrow we're just going to have to wake up and find out. He says he's going to – he said originally – or I say originally. He said in that tweet, we'll find out on the 7th. Your guess is as good as mine. He could wake up tomorrow and he's committed to Vanderbilt. I don't know. I imagine Sam Pittman and his staff is just kind of sitting there like, well, what the hell? What do we do? Do we save that spot? What are we doing here? I'm sure there's a clear line of communication, though, between Greer and the staff. I'm sure there's no This just might have been a miscommunication between the University of Arkansas and Greer. So, but I think it's a great addition if he does choose the Razorbacks tomorrow, even though he tells Otis he's a solid commit. I like him a lot, man. I like Antonio Grier a lot. He's got a number of I had his numbers pulled up here just a second ago. 2022, of course, his season was kind of cut short. He only played in, I think, just a couple of games, I think. Maybe it was 3 games. He got banged up against Baylor, I think. Is that how that went down? He got banged up sometime in 2022 early in the year. But in his career, he's got, he's got 10 sacks. Am I looking at that right? 10 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 2 interceptions for 69 yards, and a touchdown. He had a 69-yard in 2021, a 69-yard interception for a touchdown. I like that my God, this will be his 6th year. He's like a super-duper senior. So this is a COVID senior. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so you're getting a guy that's been around. You're getting a guy that we know he's got a good relationship, or at least he likes the new defensive coordinator, and not one of these 6'3", 240-pound linebackers. He's a 6'1", 223 cat. That's still a pretty good sized guy. Good frame. I caught some of his stuff on YouTube. He's going to be an issue. He's going to be an issue for some defenses. We'll see what that. I'm really curious to see what they look like come spring at the linebacker spot. We had turnover last year with Morgan and Henry gone. You had Bumper Pool step in. Well, I mean, Pool's always been there, but then you had Drew Sanders step in, and he was explosive. We saw it. We talked about it here. He was explosive in spring. The footage that we got to see. So hopefully we get that same, kind of look out of Antonio Grier, a guy that's proven he can get to the quarterback, he can create turnovers, he can make the best of an opportunity. So, yeah, we'll see how they handle that. We got some other updates too. Let me read your chat. What about Fred Talley? He's a good running back for sure. Nile Davis was special. Dennis Johnson, yep. Fred Talley was a beast. Fred Talley was like a ping pong ball bouncing off. Go watch his who was it, Florida, where he ran. He just blew up got a bunch of yards, had a big run. It's great to watch. He has good highlights. His highlights are fun to watch. Dennis Johnson. It's just unfortunate he didn't rack up enough yards. He's not usually one of those backs. When you think of the short list of great running backs here, he doesn't usually make that list, but he ought to be in the conversation for sure. Where are we at here? Scrolling down. Raleigh Williams. Yeah, Raleigh Williams. Raleigh Williams I think he would have been fantastic here. Let's see. He did. He broke his neck. Had an injury to his neck, and he was forced to go into early retirement. And then he went and he worked for the Cowboys or something. Spadish type linebacker. That is a very good comparison, actually, Philip. That's a very good comparison. Greer and Thornton were vibing on the official. Yeah, they both had a really good official, so I'm going to read that here really quick. Jake Roberts did as well. Jake Roberts, 6'5", 250-pound tight end. He's down between, who was it, SMU, Arkansas, and Baylor, I believe. It was awesome, Roberts said. The basketball game was super fun last night. Really great crowd. Shows the fans really care about Arkansas. Other than that, it's been a top-notch. It's been top-notch all the way around. The facilities and people. Coach Pittman has been great. I really enjoyed my time here. He also went on to say it's a Wednesday on Christmas break, and it was a packed house and super loud. It was a really fun environment, something that was really cool to see. We know, too, he likes the new tight end hire. I'm really liking Arkansas's shot here. Roberts, listen, he just picked up an OU offer. Now, I don't know. I don't have any confirmation if that's a committable offer or not, but he's from Norman, Oklahoma, and I'm telling you, this guy, his recruitment is blown up. He had 28 catches. He caught 28 for 394 yards. Was it 3 touchdowns last year? Roberts gained a long list of offers following entering the transfer portal, but he narrowed it down to the 3. So again, SMU, Baylor, and Arkansas. Yep. Wrap everything up Sunday, then make a decision a day or two after. So we're going to find out early next week where he's going. I would lean right now that he is going to be – I think he's going to be a Razorback. Now, I don't know. Again, he's not visiting Oklahoma, but it's not out of the ordinary where he lists his top 3, and then you get a late offer from some school, and it turns out that's the offer that he wanted, but he doesn't make a comment. That's not out of the picture. So anyone who says, well, Oklahoma, or that they're not in the picture, I mean, I think he's going to Arkansas. And I do believe him when he says these are his final 3, but Oklahoma might give him something to consider. I don't know what he ends up doing with that offer, but I feel like he's gonna be a Razorback. Baylor is, I think, a pretty legit threat because of Baylor's recent success. They've played at a pretty high level within the Big 12. That's something for him to consider. But Arkansas, he's going to be the guy. Right now, I am big on Ty Washington. I love Luke Haas. Luke Haas is going to be great, but you're talking about incoming freshman or a redshirt freshman. Here you got a cat that's played. He's played at this level, or he's played. I mean, I get it. It's not SEC, but he's at least played. He's been the guy. This is someone who's projected. A lot of the places that have offered him, from what I have read and what I've seen, it looks like the optics are he would go there and probably start. So you don't feel as comfortable with a room full of freshmen and not have that senior leadership from a guy that could actually be on the top of that depth chart. You need Roberts on this depth chart. You need him. I think he's a big need for Arkansas. And Sam Pittman said as much. And they still got Shamar Easter. I haven't had an update on him in a minute, but Shamar Easter is still someone to keep an eye on come February. Sup, Ty and all. What's going on, Rob? How you doing, brother? I think we will get this guy. I think he likes us. Yeah, I think so too. We also have a big update here on Dante Thornton, the 6'5", 200-pound wide receiver from Oregon. Thornton now has 3 visits, including Arkansas behind him, and 1 remains. I think Tennessee's his final visit. I would say I had a very great visit. The town treated me very well, and I had a great time here. Yeah, no, I'm going home and then to Tennessee. So Tennessee's still – anytime Tennessee's on the radar and you're in that top 3, right now Tennessee's a threat with how good that offense is. I would say in the past, Arkansas has done a pretty good job head-to-head with Tennessee. I'm not saying they've won all their battles, but they've done pretty good until now. Now their presence is known. This last year was a huge boost for them on the recruiting trail, and now you're going after this big-time receiver in Dante Thornton. Let's see what he read here. I didn't actually finish this piece. It was crazy. Thornton said it was a packed house. Everybody was loud, and it was a great environment to be around. The fact Arkansas fans turned out for a midweek basketball game showed Thornton what they think of the Razorbacks. The state has no professional team and only one Power 5 school. So Thornton says, I guess Otis asked him if it mattered, and he said definitely it really does. No pro teams here. And that lets you know all the attention from that will come directly to you and the athletes playing for the Hogs. If Thornton chooses Arkansas, he will play for Kenny Guyton. The Arkansas assistant has made a very strong impression on Thornton. I love him, he says. He's a great coach, definitely a great coach. So I would probably – I don't know where he's at between Auburn and Tennessee. I don't know. With Tennessee in the picture, that always makes you a little bit nervous. At least it does this year. And, yeah, I think it's obvious he wants to go to the SEC. In 2022, Thornton caught 17 passes for 366 yards and 1 touchdown. He rushed twice for 6 yards. In 2 years at Oregon, he caught 26 passes, 541 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So they had several big visitors. And I think they've still got some here, I believe. So we'll probably get some more updates this weekend. Haas is 255 and was the number 1 player in the state of Oklahoma. He's for sure playing big on Washington too. Yeah, I'm not saying he's not going to play WPSA TX50. I think Wupig Sui at Texas 50. I think that's your name there. I'm not saying he's not going to play. I'm talking about having a starter, having a veteran starter. I think that's the key here. You need to have someone with some experience and some leadership, some years on the old belt, and that's important. Lucas is absolutely going to play. Like Lucas a lot, man. Apparently he was doing really well at the what was it, the Under Armour? Was that where he was at? The Under Armour All-American week or whatever. Apparently had a strong week. With all the poison supposedly gone from the war. Oh, God, I need glasses. From the wide receiver room, he will thrive with KJ. Easter's a freakish athlete in top 10 of freaks according to 247. Yeah, Easter's going to be good, man. Kind of a project because I think some people believe he's so athletic he could actually line up outside. But I've heard the same about every one of these tight ends. ATX equals okay. Austin. Okay, yeah, right. That makes sense. Austin, Texas, 50. My old football number. Hey, I was 51. I was 51 at Ramey Junior High, and then my sophomore year at Fayetteville. Yeah, I was 51. Yeah, close. Love your show, man. Hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate the love, because not everyone does. Got some folks that are not big fans, and that's fine. I don't really pay those people in. I love reading some of their comments in other Discords. They're hilarious. Some pretty good burns, too. I remember watching Barry Foster. Yeah, man, Barry Foster was injury prone with Pittsburgh. He ran into some injuries. I figure if we land Easter, he's going to be a hybrid tight end. Haas will be more of a traditional type. Haas can line up at wideout. He absolutely can. He can do a little bit of everything, man. I'm a huge fan, Ty. Thank you, Scott. I know you are. I know you are, sir. And please, don't take what I say in Discord serious. I'm not saying Scott does, but sometimes I think people think I'm being serious. Guys, I very rarely am I. You'll know when I'm serious. Gotta love the haters, too. You know you're doing good when the haters are talking. Yeah. Yeah, well, look, you don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't claim myself to be media. I don't. I did maybe for a little while when I was with Hogville, because that's what. I mean, I don't know. That's what this said. I don't know. What is that? What? That's what this said. So yeah, no, I definitely was like, all right, well, I guess I'm media, but I never have before that. I don't even like calling myself media. Just a commentator. You know he's being serious when he hits your DMs with the "come on, bro." Yeah, "come on, bros" when you know it's serious for sure. Yeah, if I say "come on, bro," I'm probably then I'm being serious. Yeah. John Neighbors tweeted out. John Neighbors, I didn't know this. 8 straight wins at Bud Walton. When the Hogs have been trailing at halftime. That's so ridiculously sexy, John Neighbors tweeted. Isn't that the truth? Did you guys see the preseason top 25 came out on for NCAA baseball? Well, I guess that was is that college? Who is this? I just saw this tweet. Yeah, it's preseason top 25, but they call themselves fans. So is this the original? Is this your number one stat source for the Division I college baseball season? We are not directly affiliated with the NCAA. Damn, well, they got me. I thought they were. Well, anyways, whoever these guys are, they got quite a few followers. They have Arkansas at 6th, if that means anything. We don't have our actual preseason. Like, has D1 put out their what's D1 up to? What's D1 baseball up to? Have they put out their preseason top? I think they have. Well, I thought they had. Maybe not. I feel like they should have by now. They got their top transfer class rankings out. Looks like they're tweeting about that. Kendall Rogers over at D1 Baseball. Boy, I'd love to have him on. That'd be a fun conversation. We did hear the home team. I don't want to mess this up, but the home team in postseason baseball will always be the home team, if that makes any sense. I want to find the tweet. Someone had a really good one. We have the Beard. Beard is out at Texas. So we'll just talk about what Kendall Rogers said. Kendall Rogers said some postseason news that we really like. The NCAA announced that moving forward, the home team in every level of the postseason will be a higher seeded team. Oh my God! It's like they should have been doing that all along. Oh, whoops. I don't know anything about that. That's I don't know about that one. About the Muss and his past. I don't know about all that. But Beard, yeah. So Beard fired. So now the speculation or the belief is that Eric Musselman is going to be a big target of theirs. And I think you'd be crazy. If you're UT, you would be crazy not to try and go poach Eric Musselman. It's really hard to take away, like, the situation that Musselman's in at Arkansas. He's doing pretty well, right? I mean, back-to-back Elite Eights. You have to then hope that if he were to make that in his mind, I'm sure what he's thinking is he's going to have to take some players with him, right, to run his offense. We know that I think he really could find a way to get a square peg through a round hole. I absolutely believe that to be the case. I think he could do it. But I think he would end up probably needing to poach some players from Arkansas if Musselman were to take the job. It wouldn't shock me at all that would be the next logical step for Musselman, is to take his own players with him. Whoever, who's not a one and done, right? Anthony Black, right? I think he's one and done. But who knows? You got Walsh, you got Pinion. Pinion's not a one and done. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he or Walsh are one and dones, but I am saying players that he would poach, right? That would be a concern. But it all boils down to, which school right now is more relevant? Which school has richer college basketball history? That's one people love to throw around, and I did last night on Discord. I showed you guys. We compared the two side by side. Arkansas's the better historically basketball program. I don't know that that's going to really matter to Musselman when he's boiling down. He's probably looking at the success rate. Where could he have the most success? I don't think he's a guy that's just simply looking at money. Look, he makes about $4 million. He's one of the top 10 highest paid coaches in college basketball. Last I saw, Beard was just in front of him at like 5.2, I think. Now again, these numbers may be wrong. This is from sportsbetmgm.com. Bill Self has paid $10 million, 10.1. His buyout with it's only a 5.1 or 5.4 buyout. That's interesting. If that's real, John Calipari somehow is the number 2 highest paid coach of college basketball, which is a little bit surprising considering Kentucky's not really been relevant in postseason basketball. But $8.6 million is where he's at. Tom Izzo at Michigan State, 8.3. Jay Wright at Villanova. There's another one that's a little bit surprising, 6.1. But we don't have buyout information on him. I think some of this might be speculation. Chris Beard is 5.25. Rick Barnes at Tennessee is 5.2. Jamie Dixon, I did not know this. I did not know Dixon was making 4.3. Is that real? Jamie Dixon at TCU is making 4.3. I'm not saying he's not deserving of it. Chris Mack at Louisville, 4.2. Wait, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Eric Musselman is the 10th highest paid coach on this at $4 million, with Bob Huggins at West Virginia at 4.1. And Chris Mack at Louisville, 4.2. According to this, Musselman's did you know Buzz Williams makes the same amount as Musselman? See, that's the thing that makes you nervous. Like, Buzz Williams was a good hire for A&M, but he can't be right behind Musselman in pay if this is real. If this is good intel. But Eric Musselman's at $4 million with 11.4 buyout. But you compare that to some of these other buyouts, like Chris Beard was at 21. Now he's got I'm sure there's a more morality clause in his contract. Texas won't have to pay that, I'm sure. Rick Barnes, according to this website, he has a $23 million buyout. Now this article was written, I thought it was December. Tell me I'm not reading some outdated. Yeah, December 6, 2022. So not all that long ago. But, yeah, compared to some of these other contracts, I mean, Buzz Williams has a higher buyout, and he's tied with Muss. So, really, you could argue that Buzz Williams has the better deal for A&M in terms of the buyout, but not by a lot, just by a little more than $1 million. Bruce Pearl has an $8 million buyout, but that's kind of understandable considering his past. And he's also a little up and down in his career, but we certainly know what he's capable of doing. So, yeah, Oregon, who's Dana Altman. We all know Dana Altman all too well. $19.3 million buyout, but he makes $3.7 million. I definitely think Hunter Yurachek's probably at like DEFCON 1. Now, DEFCON 2 or DEFCON 3, I think they're at DEFCON 1. Is that the be prepared status? Is that DEFCON 1? I don't know. I'm making it up as I go. I certainly think Hunter Yurachek's probably a little bit concerned about this. You would be crazy if you're UT and you don't take a shot for Eric Musselman. When you consider the job that Eric Musselman's done in flipping Arkansas around as quickly as he has, it's been incredible. It's been incredible. I bet the guy from the Houston Cougars, I bet he'd want to go coach in Texas. It's always kind of the natural assumption. You could name anyone off this list, and it wouldn't shock me if they went after him. I mean, it wouldn't shock me. Someone mentioned Bruce Pearl to Texas. You know, of course you couldn't name Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes couldn't be that guy. But you know, what about Dana Altman at Oregon? I don't know. You can name anyone. I hope they don't go after Mick Cronin. Because if they go after Mick Cronin, and if they get Mick Cronin, then now you've got the UCLA job opened up. Then you're really concerned about Musselman. Those West Coast schools really concern me. I'm not, for me as a fan, I don't think fans should be super concerned yet. Wait until I don't know that Texas makes a move, or if they do, that anyone would know publicly. But then again, it's kind of hard to hide things these days. But it would shock me if we found out like next week, there's talk between Musselman's agent and UT. It would shock me. I would figure that we probably wouldn't start hearing stuff until March, until things start to wind, when you're getting into March Madness. All I got to say is they need to bump Eric Musselman. I mean, guys, look at Arkansas's basketball history. What, since 97, 98? Not the greatest. Yeah, you've won a lot of regular season games. People love to remind me of that. Mike never had a losing season. What the hell does that matter? Why do people get so wrapped up in that? Who cares? I don't care if you're a real low seeding. What matters in college basketball is what you do in March. I could give a shit that you finish 6th in the SEC. I don't care. What I care about is what do you care more about? That's what you should ask the average college basketball fan. You care about how far you go. Musselman got you to back-to-back Elite Eights. That one Elite Eight is enough to just make Mike Anderson like you should have already forgotten about Mike. And I love Mike Anderson. I do. I've talked about this before. No one more disappointed that he didn't work out than me. I loved Mike Anderson when he was an assistant at Arkansas under Nolan. Really wanted him to work out. I've met him once. I know him. I don't. But super nice guy. People that I know that have been around him say he's one of the nicest humans on earth. It's disappointing that he wasn't able to pull it out here. It is what it is. But then the hire to Musselman has just been fantastic. The turnaround feels like it overnight. When you look back, I don't think anybody thought when they hired him, well, that's going to be a back-to-back Elite Eight guy right there. That's going to be a guy that's going to sign big-time 4 and 5 stars. That's going to be a guy that's just going to turn things around super quick with all kinds of talent and bring the love back to Arkansas basketball. I don't think anyone really thought that was going to be the case. Not all of that together. And he did just that. So they're going to need to pony up some more cash. There's no doubt. You cannot – I don't think you're going to sit steady and feel okay at $4 million. I just don't think you are, especially with that buyout. That's not – it's not a low buyout. I don't want to say that, but it's not – when you got someone like UT possibly snooping around, yeah, you're going to want to change that. All right. How about the final piece of this show? Depending on how you feel about this coach, Kendall Briles is going to stick around. Kendall Briles is he's going to be the guy. He's back. He has turned down Mississippi State reportedly. I mean, that's the rumor. I do believe that he was absolutely – Mississippi State went after him. I believe that 110%. Too many people, telling me that was the case, and I believe that was the issue, and I do think that he turned it down. I think he's going to be a Razorback for a fourth year, which I never thought you'd keep both coordinators for 3 years, let alone keeping one of them for 4. Gould says, and I don't have a problem with this. I think he's probably right. If Briles is for sure going to stay, shit's going to get changed. Yeah. As soon as I heard about Musselman, I started looking at his recruits he had at Nevada. He brought in multiple 5-star kids to play in Nevada. Dude is a recruiting freak. UT won't wait till March, I think. Recruiting No. I'm not saying that they're going to wait till March. I'm saying I feel like we're not really – if I did say that, I misspoke. I feel like we're not going to hear things until March. I think they're going to do what they can to keep it. Yeah, no, they'd be crazy to wait. I agree with that, and recruiting does matter. But basketball offseason works a little differently, but it's just like any other sport, football, baseball. You got to stay on top of recruiting for sure. And I don't think they're going to wait. I'm not saying that. I mean, I think honestly, I bet they've already been in contact with him. I think during that whole mess, when Beard was up in the air, I think they were already on the phone with Musselman. I mean, why wouldn't they be? I'm saying March. I could see that we're starting to see the smoke. Montario Knight brings up a really good point. This is not something that I've bought into, because coach in waiting has just not been a thing like it used to be in college football. It's been a while since coach in waiting was something that happened often in college football. College athletics happens a little more in college basketball. You see that more often. And I think you are starting to see the coach in waiting happen a little bit more these days. I'm starting to buy into that with Kendall. I'm starting to believe that is the play here. He's turned down some – I don't know what Mississippi State offered him, but I don't think Mississippi State – we know Mississippi State's not the only school that's been interested in Kendall. Kendall still has a name. What I will say about Kendall is that I'm with fans on some of the goofball kind of stuff. We didn't see the double pass. Did we see that? How often did we see that this year? I don't feel like we saw the double pass very much. But that was certainly a step in the right direction. One of the things that stood out to not just me, but to media members up in the booth, was that once he got across the 50-yard line, once that offense got across the 50-yard line onto the opponent's side of the field, it seemed like the play calling went numb at times. But overall, you can't argue with the rushing stats. You can't argue with their effectiveness at times. I mean, you go back to you can look at early on in the year, looking at South Carolina, who, by the way, I think that's Arkansas, according to Pro Football Focus, that's actually their highest graded game of the year on offense, if I looked at that right. South Carolina, of course, BYU, you look at Ole Miss. You had some moments on offense this year where they just completely dominated. But, like, for example, first quarter, Arkansas averaged 5.5 points per opening quarter, which was near the bottom of the SEC. That's atrocious. These slow starts are just really strange. And you go back to again, I think we said it was Ole Miss, right? It was Ole Miss where where Sam Pittman came out and said, I probably pumped the brakes a little too soon. I do believe Sam Pittman, to some capacity, has had an effect on that offense. He's vetoing stuff. We don't really know. And I don't know that we'll ever really know. Houston Nutt took a lot of heat for that back in the day, where he wouldn't give up play calling. He would hire an offensive coordinator, but it didn't matter, right? Brett Bielema has had that reputation and still has it at Illinois with Barry Lunney as his OC. I don't think that we will really ever know the truth about what's happening with the play calling. I do think he's muzzled. I do think Kendall Briles, to some capacity, and you could say that about every offensive coordinator in the country. There's not a coordinator who gets final say or an entire game, 12 games, 12, 13, 14 games a year, where they just it's completely up to them. I don't think that's happening, and I could be wrong. I don't know, but I feel like that is it's an overall common thing to see take place, where the coordinator doesn't get the final say and he gets vetoed, or a coach steps in and says, no, we need to pump the brakes and slow things down. Pittman's admitted to it, and I think he's admitted to it more than once in his career as a head coach at Arkansas. I do think he has an effect on the offense. On the flip side of that, the red zone offense was atrocious, very predictable at times. Again, once they get into the red zone, there were some interesting goal line plays. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. The direct snap, who was that against? The direct snap to Rashard Dubinion. Who was that against? Was that Ole Miss? I don't know. But he had a direct snap. It was beautiful at like the 2-yard line, 2 or 3 yard line. Beautiful play. And then you have the Trey Knox in motion getting the ball up the gut. Like what? Creativity is there. All right? That's the one thing we can say. Whether it works out or not, the creativity is there. But sometimes it's just the situational awareness that just is bizarre. You think sometimes your kid brother is playing Madden and he's got the control. That's sometimes how I watch a Kendall Briles coached offense this year. And a little bit of what I saw when he was at Florida State. Admittedly, I didn't watch a lot of the Houston stuff that's out there, but sometimes just bizarre. But I think it's him trying to be creative, getting a little desperate, and trying to find ways to get points. And you can't fault him for that. But sometimes it feels like it's a little much and maybe not. Let's not do that, Kendall. The tight end in motion Trey Knox play is one for the books. Had it worked, it would have been genius, right? But the point is, it didn't. I'm not sure we've seen anything like that. I'm not sure we've seen a tight end under line. He goes in motion, then he lines up right. He's behind the center. He's got his hands on the center, takes the ball. It's creative. Can you do that on Madden? Was that ever a play on NCAA football? That's creative, but it didn't work, and it just was like, what was that? And I'll tell you right now, there's not very many people who thought that was really even a good idea to begin with, because he's long, but he's not a running back, and he's not Trey Knox. That's just not his. That's not his wheelhouse to be that guy. Treylon Burks, that would have been even if it didn't work, I think you'd be like, no, I get it, right? I get it with Treylon Burks. That's just not Knox's wheelhouse. Not that he can't be difficult to, it's just different when you're keeping the ball out of the backfield. That's just a different type of thing. Why not do that with KJ? Why not throw the defense off, move him out somewhere, and move him into motion and have him take the snap or something? I don't know. That was bizarre. We've seen it time and time again. They tried some stuff with Malik Hornsby in the past. It didn't work out. The point I'm making is that it's like he'll call a pretty good game until moments like that, and it happens more than once in a single game, and it could kill drives. That's the stuff that for year 4, it either needs to be better executed or not called at all. Maybe just the second one. Maybe just don't do that. Criswell does have 2 years, yes. Well, I really want to see Malachi Singleton as a redshirt freshman under Briles' offense. Yeah, listen, again, I am starting to buy into Kendall being the guy in waiting. I'm starting to buy into that because it's just so unheard of to see a coach here for 4 years. It is just so unheard of. You just don't see an offensive coordinator. You don't see an offensive coordinator here for 4 years, or a defensive coordinator unless it's a a program maybe winning at a high level, or they're kind of defying odds, and even then you're worried about poaching, right? Barry Odom. I think Barry Odom, I absolutely believe that either he saw the writing on the wall or Sam Pittman just straight up told him, like, hey, go interview some jobs because we're going to have to make a change. Something there happened. I think if Pittman wanted Odom here for year 4, I think Odom would be here. But I don't think that's the case. And listen, all the changes, I'm going to be real with you, all the changes they've made with the position coaches and the coordinator, with the defense coordinator hire, I have liked mostly. I think the DC hire, it's going to be one of those for sure. And you could say this about any coordinator, right? Even if you lost Kendall Briles, you would say the same thing, like, I guess we'll have to wait and see what we're really going to get on the field, what the product on the field looks like. The same could be said with this new guy, the defensive coordinator. But I like that the players absolutely love this dude, and I think he's going to have an impact. I don't know about the transfer portal, and that's what we're all waiting for, right? The defensive line. We still need some pieces there, right? Especially with one cat in the portal that I hope they can bring out. I really hope they can convince Jordan Dominic to pull his name out of the portal. They are going to need to do that. I think really he ought to be recruit number 1 for them, if you want my opinion, at least on the defensive line. So we'll see how he does with transfer portal, and I'm not even going to hold it against him if he doesn't have a great portal showing this year. I'm not going to hold it against him, but I want to see what they look like in spring ball. But more importantly, I want to see what that defensive product looks like on the field in 2023. I think we're going to see more of a 4-man front. I think you're going to see them try to be I think they're going to try and be very aggressive, and they're going to try and run more of a 4-man front and throw some different looks. That was the one thing I did like about Odom at times. We did see some multiple looks up front on the defensive front in the box. But, yeah, I think I don't know that we're going to see as many multiple looks. I really don't. If they do what they need to do in the portal, I don't think you're going to see it a lot. I think they're going to have the depth next year, but they've got to get Jordan Dominic out of the portal. How do you feel about the co-coordinator? I think that's just for money. I really think that was one of the ways they probably lured him here. Again, I really, really like. We went over this, so I'm not going to go down all this again. I'm not going to go down that route again, talking about Marcus Woodson, the co-defensive coordinator. But I really like his resume. I like what Florida State was as a secondary last year, and he played a huge role. Do not pay any attention to Florida State fans. I think they're putting up a big front. Go look at their numbers. Look at who this dude has recruited. He's also recruited he was a big part of a 5-star running back. So I think he's going to play a role in recruiting, maybe even on both sides of the ball. Really excited about Marcus Woodson. I hope he's a guy they can keep here for a couple of years, 2-3 years, to really help rebuild the back end of that defense. Cornerback from Baylor just committed. Whoa, what? For real? Who? Which one? Look at that. Look at that, baby. We were just talking about it. Yeah. Well, hold up. Which one? They had 2. Who was on campus? Are y'all tagging me on Discord? Hold up now. That's huge if it's who I think it is. Hang on. We're gonna look. Don't tell me you're not sending me down. Tell me you're not pulling my tail here, because I'm not seeing it. See, this is why I shouldn't overreact. I get so excited when we're talking about recruiting. Y'all tag me. If you see it, tag me on Discord. Who committed? Yeah, I'm not seeing it on Twitter. I think someone messing with me. Hold up. Stand by. We're looking. I think they do have a commit. Who committed? Okay, this is okay. It's all right. It was Lorando Johnson. We have his profile. There it is. Yep, and they just tagged it in. Okay, hang on. Stand by. I have his numbers here. Hang on. Portal targets. Hang on. Was that the guy I just recently added? It sure is. Here we go. All right. Yeah. Lorando Johnson. Nicknamed Snacks, I guess. 5'11", 181 pound, former 4-star, committed to Baylor in 2020. He has a pro football focus grade of 75.0. And by the way, that's pretty damn good. Starting to understand this stuff a little bit better. He has a coverage grade of 76.2. Guys, that's good. That's huge. Okay, that's a big one. That's huge. There you go. See, why does this happen? Why couldn't he have done this earlier? So I could change the title and the thumbnail. Damn it. Good for him. Good, huge pickup. I was really excited about that. Yeah, he's on the target list. So Patreon supporters, he was the last one. I updated that last night. Yeah, he was on a visit. That's a good one. Huge right there. Thank you Patrick for the tag. Chris G for posting that in our Discord. Yeah. Big time. Boom, baby. Don't you love it? Hey, don't you forget. Check out Patreon if you want to join. If you want to become a member of Patreon, go do that. And super chat. Just saying. It's open. Snacks Johnson. That's a good one. See, I didn't know that was his nickname. I'm going to be real. When I knew he was added to the list, coming in hot with breaking news. There you go, Philip. Philip's the man. Do you still have stickers? I do still have stickers. I've got a couple left. I was supposed to mail some on Monday, and I completely forgot. That is my bad. There's two other people, I think. But yeah, I have you got to specify, Aaron, if you are a Patreon supporter, you need to specify, give me a mailing address, your name, and whether you want a black sticker or a white. It's Baylor cornerback. Yeah, it's Baylor. Yeah, it is. Committed. We're sitting here bragging on Woodson, man. I hope someone clipped that. That's great. That was great. That was great timing. We're just sitting here talking about Marcus Woodson. He's already paying off. Maybe should I call Otis Kirk? Just call him right now. Get him on. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to him. That'd be mean. He'd be like, "What the hell?" Committed. Yeah, that's a good one. So that is a good pickup for Arkansas. So congratulations to that young man and to the University of Arkansas, Coach Woodson, and I'm sure he wasn't the only one. I'm sure he wasn't the only guy here. Travis Williams, I'm sure, played a role in that. Dominic Bowman, I'm sure, played a role. Coaching, of course, he coaches the corners. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. No, I'm not going to call Otis. What's up, Little Rock 2517, my man? How you doing? Okay, I'll DM you in Discord. Which color shows up better? Well, so black will show up on your window, right? If you've got like a white car, obviously you're going to want white. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. Black will show up on your actual, if you put I recommend putting it on your rear window, or if you're whatever you want to put it on. Black shows up really well on like if you got a darker car and you're not putting it on your rear window. Hey Ty, does McAdoo head to the wide receiver room with him committed? That's a good question. I don't know, man, because McAdoo graded out really well with the corners. He had a huge impact all the way up until the Kansas game. And the entire secondary graded out horrible. Everyone did not. I don't think anyone graded out really well. however you want to look at it. Looking at PFF numbers, I don't think anyone graded out really well. That's a good one, though. I mean, that's something to think about. Do they all of a sudden now, if they whiff on some of these wide receiver transfers, do they think about moving McAdoo over to wide receiver? Listen, he had a pretty good fall camp at wideout. I think he could do well at either position. I believe it was Dudley Dawson who told us that that he was going to that he should stay at corner. That he felt like that's where his money was going to be made. But you might be put in a situation where if you feel better about these transfers, that could be at the end of the day, that might be what we're looking at here, right? Is Arkansas, how well they kill it at either wide receiver or defensive back, and how much of an impact that has on where Quincy McAdoo plays, where he lines up in 2023. Apparently I don't remember where I read this, but someone had said that he was that he could still, not that he is, but that he could still be considering going pro or declaring for the draft. I don't think he's going to. I mean, not trying to be not Quincy McAdoo. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Dwight McGlothern. So if you lost Dwight McGlothern, I don't think he will. I don't think McGlothern's gonna do that. That could also have an impact, right? Hopefully you don't lose any more to the transfer portal. Remember, that goes on until January 18th. You could still lose some more players, and then the transfer portal opens back up, I think, in May. A lot of things to consider. You know, getting through the rest of this window, this transfer portal window, and then getting through May in terms of who you lose and who you gain, right? Could have our own hog version of Legion of Boom. He hardly ever got burned. Yeah, Quincy McAdoo was great. If you're talking about Quincy, yeah. Quincy, I don't ever, honestly, I know he got beat. He has been beat. It's not like he hasn't, but it seemed more rare than anything. McAdoo with those hands, I'm telling you, man. And he had a pick. I mean, he ended. Think about how long or how short a time. He wasn't a corner for very long, for like 4 or 5 games. And he just kind of got pushed over there, and he's a true freshman. We're not talking about an upper class freshman or an upper class player. Excuse me. Didn't Sam mention the possibility of playing both sides? I think he did. I think he talked about. I think he did. I think you're right. Lorando Johnson sounds like a beast. He's got a cool name. I just want to call him Lando. One of the greatest Star Wars characters ever. Lando Calrissian. When asked what he will bring to a team, he said, "Sweat and confidence." Sounds like a cologne. Sweat and Confidence by Ralph Lauren. Hearing Al Walcott is coming. Yeah. I did see that name. You're right. He's in the portal. I did see that name. You're right. All right, well, we're at an hour 20. This is a good one. This is a jam-packed. I think we covered everything. We talked about Musselman. We talked about Nick Smith Jr. Hooah. We talked about him. We talked about Antonio Greer. Kendall Briles sticking it out. If I missed anything, well, tell me. Tell me later. Isaac Tesla, Al Walcott, Xavier Weaver all have one more trip before making a decision. Kane Barong, the tight end from Notre Dame, will get here at 9 a.m. and then leave Saturday. So this tight end is here today, and he's going to leave on Saturday. So there's some motion here happening. So again, that's a big one. What happens with Mbake? Does he stay at well, no, he already moved back to wideout, Elvin. He moved back to wideout 2 weeks after they moved him over there. Yeah, he's back at wide receiver. Woo-hoo, an on-air commit took place. That's awesome. Yeah, I know. I wish he would have done it sooner. That would have made for a really good headline. Kendall Briles stays, or Arkansas picks up former 4-star commit Kendall Briles stays. I don't know. Something like that. Join the Discord. Links below. There you go. Yeah, if you guys are not in our Discord, you really need to be there. It's especially, I've said this before, I feel like I'm trying to beat a fart out of a dead horse sometimes with this, but if you're a Patreon member, you really need to join, because that's where a lot of that extra access is happening. That's where you're getting some of this stuff that we're talking about. You have access to things that a lot of other people don't. In fact, 500 plus people do not have access to some of that stuff. There are going to be some shakeups with the Patreon stuff, but really where things are looking really good is that chat, that Patreon chat. A lot of good intel, a lot of good stuff happening there. So just another reason to join. There's the link to Discord. Yeah, on-air commits are always nice. We have had that happen before. It's been a while. We have had that happen before. Trying to line that up there. Here we go. If you want to join Patreon, now again, that link is provided for you down below, but right there you go. There's that link as well to join Tuss Talk. It does say /Tyzilla83, but it should still take you to the same page, to the Tuss Talk Patreon. So, great stream. Woo Pig beat Auburn. That's right. All right. I appreciate you guys, Patreon supporters, sponsors. Remember, I'll be at the Odd Soul tomorrow. Apparently sooner than I thought. Might need to text Nick. But I will be at the Odd Soul tomorrow evening if you want to join us right there on Emma Street in Springdale. Hope you guys come by, say hi. If not, hope you're here for that post-game show. It's going to be a late one, but hey, at least it's a Saturday night, not a midweek 7:30 tip-off. But yeah, appreciate you. Woo Pig, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Go Hogs.